before America existed. All right, it's Monday night. This is the live stream. Chilling, chatting, painting, joking around, whatever we're going to end up doing. It's going to be the best, maybe the best ever that anyone has ever seen. No one has ever seen a stream like this. It will be that good. Yeah, I can't really do the accent, but man, I wish I could. Let me pop over here. While I'm doing it, I'm building a little terrain, so my hands are covered in freaking mud. But it's fake mud, so it'll wash right off. You know, unlike that freaking red mud up in Kentucky, that stuff, you get that on you, you ain't ever getting it off. All right. Let's see what's up here. All right. Hit this guy up. Like, for real, for real. Let's see. Do we open chat? We do. There's Robert Copeland saying yellow. Are you suggesting a color I should paint? I mean, this guy's yellow. And one day maybe I'll get to use it. Probably not though. Right now I'm getting ready to hang some corpses off of this T crucifix, whatever. Yeah, I've got a bunch of corpses that I 3D printed out, and I put barbed wire around their neck, and I'm going to hang them off of that. And then when this thing is dry, I will affix them to this so that it'll be a terrain piece for my Trench Crusade board. The only thing I'm waiting for is the end boards, the 1x4s to do the end. But there you go. I know it's a little shaky, but you can see I've got my trench. I got another trench and another trench and tons of like tank traps and barbed wire. And so, yeah. Yep. And when Haas visit, it's the reprobate hour. Hey, what is up? And when my brother visits, he and I will play. I've already completely painted his army. It's done, based, waiting to go. I'm working on mine, which are trench pilgrims, but the robes are all going to be in red. So right now I've got the base color down. I need to go back and start painting, rifles, and that backpack's not going to be red. It's probably going to be a beige. And the bottle for the Molotov cocktail will be probably a dark green. What's up, Doc? How you doing? And then, of course, since all of these guys wear masks of the saint that they follow, their masks are typically silver. So let's see here. So, ooh,
hey, how's it going, James? Finally caught you.
Yeah, you managed to sneak in for right before I was ending the show. But
so what's going on with you?
Yeah, I am painting horrible things. Literally images from hell.
Cool.
Yeah. Because some of the terrains just got to be like that, And having people hung on posts but with barbed wire, that's pretty rough. Hungar's army is pink with blue polka. Actually, his army, as I push my glasses forward, this is what his army looks like. So it's mostly like a really dirty yellow, except they're all wearing a red painted demon mask.
This is for Trench Crusades?
Yeah. And then, of course, they've got their bolt action rifles and bayonets, and some of them have the fetus that apparently they carry on their belts. It's some kind of unholy artifact.
Neat.
It's a living fetus with like an upside down pentagram on its
You
forehead.
sure these are demons and not Democrats?
They can be both.
True.
Like if you look really close at this guy's shoulder, you see that bronze plate?
Yeah.
You can't see because it's so small, but that is actually a icon of Pazuzu. Like from The Exorcist, the statue with the 4 wings. And
Yeah.
hey, what's up, Dan Lop? How have I been? I've been okay. I was just showing off my brother's part of my brother's army. Of course, he's got a couple of artillery witches, and he's got his infernal assassin. This guy's special ability is he actually has a stealth projector on his back. So if he's in cover and stuff like that, you can't actually target him. I live in Orlando.
Disneyland World.
Now, we have done some things to mod his army up to make it unique. Like instead of using the warlords they tell you to use for the army, I found the STL for this guy, printed it out and painted it, and this is his warlord.
That's the Hellraiser dude, right?
Yeah, Pinhead. So his heretic force will be led by the Hell Priest, Pinhead. Because somebody had for free the STL, and it was just like medieval Pinhead.
Cool.
And I was like, well, hell yeah. Another STL I got a hold of, but I haven't done anything with yet because I've been printing out so much terrain on my, like I did this morning. It's going to need to be painted, but it's just a hill full of dead people, freaking crucified. How you doing, Mobius? I hope you're not freezing to death up there.
Hey, Mobius.
But and then on the table you didn't see, but my brother's Warwolf, which is a half demon, half animal thing. Because according to the lore of Trench Crusade, pure demons cannot enter Earth from hell. So what they do is they have their servants capture animals, mostly goats and pigs and stuff, and then they reproduce with them, which creates, you know, basically Cambion type, Tiefling type shit. And then they send that out. And of course, a third of humans have decided to bend the knee to hell. So that's the Heretic Legions. And yeah. Of course, sometimes, depending on how people build their trench pilgrims, it's kind of hard to tell the difference.
This is all set during World War I or thereabouts?
It's an alternate World War I.
Okay.
But the technology is definitely at least World War II or Cold War era in some cases, because both sides have, the war's been going on for about 1,000 years now, and technological improvements for warfare have been just, excrementally, not excrement. Anyway, they've just been improving to the point that, no, they're not flying biplanes. They're flying jets. And they have guys running around with automatic rifles. You know what I mean? Submachine guns and shit. Gigantic tanks, you know. Baphomet self-replicates. Yep. Which is, oh yeah, look at this guy, yeah, like the black goat in the wood, and the Grand Canadian Reprobate in the house. Yeah.
Apparently, I guess that's me.
Well, I mean, you're grand.
Well, thank you.
I would agree with that.
How much it costs to date me?
It's not too cold, but we got more snow. Well, you know.
Yeah, we had 2 feet of snow last week.
Yeah,
Before?
they had quite a bit of snow at my mom's place,
Yeah,
but
it's
it
currently
was like
raining
10
outside,
degrees.
by the way.
What's that?
It's currently raining outside.
Yeah,
It's
been doing
raining
that
down
here for
here.
a couple days.
Yeah, but we're not down there. That's
Yeah.
the
No,
point.
I'm just saying it's raining down here too.
So it's going to probably
The
freeze
Vatican
overnight.
does have a space program according to the lore. Because Italy doesn't really exist. It's the Papal States. And Germany doesn't really exist. It's the Holy Roman Empire. It never fell.
And England doesn't really exist. It's
No.
the Bank of England.
England exists.
You know what
But
the city of
Scotland
London
is independent of England.
Do you know what the city of London is?
Yes, it's a giant bank.
Yeah. It's not London. It's a whole other city inside London that has an Egyptian obelisk right at the entrance. And it runs
Yeah.
the Bank of England, which runs all of the British Isles.
Yeah, but the thing you got to understand is Napoleonic Wars never happened. Because the Hellgate was open in 1099, and everyone in the whole planet has been occupied with that. So there haven't been a lot of wars between European powers. You know, everybody's just
talking
basically like, Avengers assemble. We got to stop the demons.
What are you talking about? Tell me this is about this game you're playing and not reality.
Yeah, it's the game. I'm not about
Okay,
the
like
game
I was like,
lore.
what the fuck? 1099? What?
At 1099, the timelines diverge.
Yeah, he thought you went all
Oh,
Alex Jones
fuck.
there for a minute.
I
And then the Hellgate
No,
opened
no,
and the
like
frogs
that
turned
crazy
gay.
That
James
was
is
like-
100% woo woo.
I'll be like that crazy woman that was on the internet being all like, the Roman Empire actually never existed.
Yeah, I love her. She's
That was all
awesome.
made up. And it's
I'm gonna
like,
run her over.
it's like, except if you go to Italy, you can literally look at the shit they built. Or how about those people who say that we're actually living in like 24 something because
Oh, no,
300 years
that we lost 300 years of time. Yeah, except the Chinese documented that missing 300 years quite well, actually. And so did the Arabs. So you're kind of wrong.
Dark Knight, Vlad Tepes has already been mentioned in the lore, and the Varangian Guard, you can play them. However, Constantinople fell to the demonic forces. But look right here, my boy. What is this? It is a trench crusade Varangian Guard with a pistol and a trench club. Yep.
I've been waiting for you to live stream all day.
Have you?
And then
I made a lot of videos.
I've been checking my fucking thing going, when's he going to go on live? I want to hang out with someone today. And then suddenly I'm like, okay, fuck it. We're going to start watching some shit on my channel. And then this asshole's like, I can't right now because I'm hanging out with James. You fucking dick.
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen Doc in a while. And Doc's my bro, you know.
Well, you're doing your Monday streams like super early lately, so I'm like just
I
getting
have
home
been,
there.
but I decided this time I would wait until 6. That's the best part of this whole game, and that's why I said in one of my videos, is you can use any miniatures you want. So, like how people say, if don't buy games from people who hate you, okay, I get it, whatever. But the rules for this game are free, and you literally need not give the creators a dime, and they give you permission to create your own lore if you want.
Who
So
puts
it's
this out?
like, okay. Yeah.
Who puts it out? Is this a Catalyst game?
No, it's the guy who created Mordheim and the best edition of Warhammer Fantasy, which was like 5th edition. And he did all the rules. And then the guy who used to do art for like a lot of people, like BioWare and Magic the Gathering and games. And so the guy who used to do art did a bunch of art. And then someone was like, you should make a game based on this art. And then this other guy, he's a Finnish guy, the guy who did Mordheim, he rolls in and says, I'll write a game for you. And the next thing you know, they made $4 million on Kickstarter.
Nice.
So, you know, but their main thing is You don't got to use their shit. They don't care. You can use any miniatures you want. You can basically, like the guys I showed you, these blood red guys all in hoods with guns and Molotov cocktails. Those are Warhammer 40K, Maccabi and Janissaries. But in my game, they're going to be trench pilgrims devoted to St. Olga, and which means they like fire a lot. So they got flamethrowers and shit.
Oh, who doesn't like fire?
Well, that represents when St. Olga used the birds to burn Kiev to the
I would
ground.
like to point out that the way you told the story of how the game was made, ironically, who doesn't like fire, reminded me of George Carlin's whole bit about flamethrowers. Do you remember that? Which is, there was one day there was this guy, and he was like, I would like to throw fire on that guy over there, but I did not do it. So he talked to his friend who was good with tools. That's, as you were telling that story, that was going through my head. It was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the reasons the German flamethrowers suck is they use just gasoline.
Yeah, the
That-
flamethrower is another one of those interesting little things. It's been outlawed, but everybody still stockpiles them because it's just too
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah,
Makes
the
it just
Germans
not.
just use
It's really not
gasoline,
useful,
and they
especially
would
if you're
pump-
the asshole wearing the flamethrower and one bullet hits it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
They
Jesus.
actually almost never explode unless they're hit by incendiary rounds.
Well,
I'll tell
you know
you
what?
what.
If I was fighting a war, and I knew that you were bringing flamethrowers to the fight, I'd make sure my boys had some incendiary rounds and be like, when the flamethrower guy steps on the field, everybody target him with the
Well, not
incendiary.
only that,
I
but
actually met
remember
an
that-
old dude in Walter Reed, who was a World War II veteran. He was a Marine. And originally in basic, he was set to be the flamethrower guy. He said every time the drill sergeant turns it back, he stuck his fingers down his throat and made himself throw up. He's like, oh, I can't take the fumes. I can't take the fumes.
Yeah.
So they put him on a BAR instead. He's like, there's no fucking way I'm running around with the guy.
But
he
gas
had
tank
the
on my
Kub-
back.
One of my teachers in
the Kub died, but the Kubians are in the game.
one of my teachers in high school was an American
Okay.
Vietnam vet who had moved to Canada to be a teacher. And he told us that their orders were very simple. When you ran out of ammo on a patrol, you go back to base. So he said we'd get out in the fucking jungle. The first noise we'd hear, the squad would just empty everything we had into the bush. Sorry, Sarge, we got to go back to base now. They were like, we are not fucking around with this. I think Elian Roblox 13 is trying to sing a song.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but his title's Roblox, and that makes me nervous.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't use Gilded, because they force a Roblox to fucking log in.
Yeah, because Bruce is no longer on Discord. He moved 100% to Gilded.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. And they're like, you have to have Roblox. And I'm like, I don't know. I've heard horrible things about Roblox. Like the only people that hang out on Roblox are like pedophiles and stuff.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So I'm all like, I don't know if I want to be on Roblox or be affiliated with it in any way.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and here's the problem. Roblox has a whole bunch of issues. Discord does not use end-to-end encryption, right? So Gilded was an excellent alternative to fucking Discord. And then Roblox took it over, and suddenly it was no longer a fucking safe place anymore. It's like, fuck.
I'd never heard of Gilded. What's it basically just the same
It's
thing?
basically like a web-based, well, they have an app as well now, but it's like a web-based Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't horrible. I mean, I used it before they forced you to do the Roblox. That's relatively new. But when Basic Expert went over there, I joined his server. That'd be like a year ago.
Yeah, I
And
joined that one too.
it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was okay.
The thing is, I joined and then I forgot my password.
Same.
And when I went to reset my password, it was Roblox, and they wouldn't let me reset my password by email. And I'm like, well, then what the fuck? So I try and set up the thing, and they go, no, this email's already in use. And I'm like, why don't you go fuck yourself, Roblox? How about you do that? How about you just go fuck yourself twice?
You just exactly described my experience. I was trying to do it, and it was like, you got to have Roblox. Now, I don't want Roblox. I already got an account. No, someone else is using the account. It's like,
Yeah. Someone else is using this account. Yes, I know him. He's me.
yeah,
What the fuck?
like
No.
freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi there. Of course I know
No
him.
jokes.
It's me.
I am him. You know, like, fuck.
There's a show on YouTube I like to watch. My wife don't care for it that much, but it's some dude who is doing like deep fakes. So it's like Anakin, young Anakin, like
Oh, the guy who watches stuff and does the characters watching the movies.
and they're watching the Star Wars movies and commenting.
Have you seen the Lord of the Rings ones he does with Gandalf and all that?
No.
Oh my god, they're the fucking best. Elrond's like a baby with Elrond's.
Oh, I've seen one where Elrond's a baby.
Yeah,
And they got him in like one of those swings. He's just sitting
and he's got fucking Sean Bean down to a fucking T as like, oh, I don't know if we could do that there. Then like doing that whiny, bitchy Boromir that everybody seems to love so much. And I'm like, no, Boromir was never a bitch in the books.
It's a great weapon. We should use it against the enemy.
Yeah. Dude, you got to watch the ones with Gandalf when they're watching Rings of Power. Well, apparently that's me, but I don't remember doing it, but it must be me.
Yeah, I do. I think it's funny too because you watch the Star Wars one and like young Obi-Wan and young Anakin are constantly busting each other's balls.
Yeah.
And Anakin still calls Obi-Wan my master, even though, you know, he says shit and Obi-Wan's like, what'd you just say? And Anakin's like, nothing, my master. And it's always about killing younglings.
Yeah.
And then Qui-Gon Jinn is a ghost and all he does is sit there and eat.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to get fat. I'm already dead. You know, and shit. It's just pretty hilarious. The guy who does it, very talented guy. Henry Winkler, his best role was probably on the Sanders show where he played the water boy.
Oh, the coach. He was the coach on the Water Boy. Yeah. Actually, his best role, you got to go way back to like the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. He did a movie called The One and Only, which is about an actor who becomes a professional wrestler and is essentially doing the George story.
Yeah, I remember I saw that.
So good in that movie, man.
He did one with Harrison Ford too. He was a Vietnam veteran who broke out of a mental hospital. I can't remember what it was called. Sally Fields is in it too.
I can't stand her. Oh my god, I can't stand her.
Wasn't she like the love interest in
Smokey and the Bandit?
Smokey and the Bandit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that.
She was in all of Burt Reynolds' movies for a while because they were dating forever. It's like Sandra Locke and Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah,
Sandra Locke
so many movies.
was a hell of a good actress. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, you know, whatever.
The best role Sally Field ever played was Forrest Gump's mother. I'm serious. That was like her best acting.
Yeah,
what about The Flying Nun?
Sorry, not
Sandra. I absolutely loved the movie Forrest Gump. I thought it was like the first time I watched it, I was like, first off, I hated Jenny right off the bat. But other than that, I was like, this is actually a really well-written movie, you know? Because you got this guy with developmental issues, but somehow he makes it through everything and comes out for the better on the other side all the time.
So the guy who wrote the book, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, my buddy and I were going out to see a movie. We wanted to go see that movie where it was about a terrorist bomber movie that came out at the same time as Forrest Gump. So we went to the theater to see this movie, Blown Away or whatever the fuck it's called, and it was sold out. And we were like, fuck, we came all this way downtown to the theater, blah, blah, blah. And we looked over, there's this movie called Forrest Gump. And we're like, oh, that just started today. Oh, yeah, my girlfriend said she wants to see it. Hey, you want to go see this and see if it's any good? And he's like, yeah, let's go. So we didn't know what the fuck we were walking into. We had no preparation. We knew nothing. Blown away. Like, it was such a good movie. Like, we were like, wow, that was good. But you said about Jenny, you You ever hear Weird Al Yankovic's version of Lump called Gump?
Yeah.
His girlfriend Jenny was kind of a slut. It's like, yep. Went
to the White House, should LBJ's, but
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, the book has a sequel because apparently the guy who wrote the book loathed the movie, and the sequel
They
is
didn't load the paychecks.
yep,
Yeah,
probably
he
not.
didn't load the millions of
But
dollars.
in the book, they made a movie about him, and he's like meets Tom Hanks in the book and like rags on him. it's I read some excerpts; it was pretty funny. Apparently, the author was not happy with the film.
So I took a big step yesterday, guys.
What'd you do?
I actually went on Facebook for the first time in a long time and went on Marketplace and posted a bunch of pictures of all the shit I'm getting rid of. Now we wait.
Facebook is still around?
Yeah, and apparently Marketplace is pretty good for selling certain things, like basically 40K stuff. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to sell any of my War Machine or Horde stuff because, but there's always some idiot out there with like, a pocket full of money burning a hole through, and willing to drop a couple $100 for some Warhammer stuff. And I have decided that I am just getting rid of a lot of shit, which I've been talking about that forever, but I actually made a move to do it this time. Instead of just sitting here saying I'm getting rid of all of my triples of different stuff. No, I'm actually going to do it.
Nice.
Well, eventually you end up like that one guy said, where you don't own it, it owns you.
I've gotten a couple of good deals off of Marketplace for RPG stuff as well, though. But the RPG, for me, it's not Marketplace. It's the RPG Trade and Sell group. That group I've done some good deals on.
Oh, then I might have to check that group out too. But I just went on Marketplace and posted the pictures of all the shelves in my garage, with all the 40K shit and games all over it, and was like, I want to sell all this stuff. Price is negotiable. Contact me here. Gave them an email, like one that I don't care if people know. Because I have like 3 emails, and one of them, the one I actually use to create accounts and stuff, no one knows but me. And the freaking password for that email is like 52 letters, numbers, symbols long. Like I had to actually copy it down and print it out because if I ever forgot that, I'd be done. It's like, so I keep one that's super secure. And then the Lou Lambada one, I've had that for like 15 years now or so, maybe even 20. I had that since EverQuest came out. How long ago was EverQuest? When it was Variant? A long time ago, 25 years at least.
EverQuest was the 80s, wasn't it?
And
No,
that's the
EverQuest
one I
was like
use for all the shit that,
I'm
I
thinking
don't
of
care
Dragon
about.
Quest.
Yeah, no, I think the first actual kind of MMO was like
Ultima Online.
Yeah, because you had Lord what's his name,
Lord Britannia, who
yeah,
got killed in his own game.
and then you had like Asheron's Call or something like that.
EverQuest was 99.
Yep. So I've had that email account since 99. So 25 years. And that's the one I use for all the shit like, hey, contact me here because.
Yeah, my primary Gmail I've had for about 20 years. Like when Gmail came out, I set up my first. And I've always had that one. But I now use that one as my burner account. Whenever I need to use an email to sign up for some bullshit, I use that so I get all the spam there,
Right.
Easily handled.
So
I went to the doctor today.
We played Vampire last night for like 35 minutes. No, not your Echo. I am going to get one, but a major purchase like that requires saving up for a while. Like me and my wife got a deal where it's like, as long as it's under $100, you could do it. But if it's more than $100, you got to talk about it. And then when I bought my last Pew Pew, the 300 Blackout, she was okay with it because I saved up for 6 months. So I put a little money aside until I had enough to, right? And she's cool with that. She actually loves that. She loves when I save to buy things. And that's what's going to happen. But this computer, which the one I'm looking at is like in every way, like miles better than the one I'm currently on. But it's still like outdated compared to, you know, like the $1,400 ones with like the 10 cell iBillion, you know. No, I'm just getting one that's good enough that I can play Ark and Stalker 2. Because Stalker 2 is coming out and I'm all like, cheeky breaky. Right? Right. Cheeky breaky.
I may have found a decent artist for Heroic. And he's Canadian.
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people in Canada. I was listening to Canadian music yesterday. John LaJoy.
It's not Canadian music. That's just an attention deficit disorder millennial.
No, he's just a regular, everyday, normal guy.
Makes pretty good spaghetti sauce, motherfucker.
Yeah. My mom likes to make me dinner once a month, motherfucker. Some shit like that. I had a pretty good childhood, you know. It's like, but he managed to turn his internet YouTube.
Oh wow, Hungar's here.
I see that. He turned his YouTube fame into like a job on an actual TV series.
Yeah.
Hungar.
Hungar.
Running late tonight. Just finished dinner. Ugh.
Yeah, I was just saying we kind of got to play D&D last night. And then
Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
yeah, and then like half of the group had an emergency.
It happens.
It happens.
That's why you lock the doors. You go nowhere.
And turn the lights down low.
But then I
Turn
convinced the storyteller that we all deserved at least 1 XP for showing up.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, we showed up. We get an XP, right? He's like, no. Rush for the win.
Some YYZ for the head.
Yeah, I was going to say that could mean Rush the band, which is pretty good. That
Rush
could
the
be
drum.
my favorite tactic when playing. What's that Space Marine game we love so much? Hungar on cute computer.
Space Marine. Dawn of War.
Dawn of War, yeah. Rush is my favorite thing to do in Dawn of War. Play Blood Angel Space Marines and just immediately rush the enemy base.
What's up, Dirty Goblin? Dirty
Yeah, they hate
Goblin.
that because Space Marines start the game out just already individually better than everything else.
Yeah,
so
but
you
can't
rush
kill-
the enemy base with your Space Marines right off the bat.
You
A
can't
lot
kill
of
what you
times that's
can't
the end of the
see.
game. You just keep sending Space Marines at them, and they'll never get any resources to buy anything.
Yeah, but remember, you can't kill what you can't see.
Well, that's the Elder. They can hide. Are you still playing Conan Exiles, Hungar?
Not really, no. I've not been playing anything. I played BattleTech, MechWarrior, BattleTech yesterday for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, what happened with the ability to actually play multiplayer just died.
Yeah.
It's like, because I still owed you because you beat me that one time. And even though it was 1 out of like 5, it pissed me off. I felt like I needed revenge.
Yesterday I had to fight a bunch of pirates. And
See you later, Big Vic.
Killed everybody with later, Big Vic. Killed every mech that I went up against with headshots.
Were you playing a Marauder with targeting?
No, I was
computer?
playing two. I was playing a King Crab, an Atlas, and two Annihilators.
Oh God, cheater!
I was playing my Steiner Scout Company.
Yeah, cheater is what you're doing.
How's that cheating? I got them. I use them.
I know. It's just all you know. The game's not fun when you're playing nothing but 100-ton mechs.
It says who?
Anyway, let's talk about something else. Bear hates Battletech.
I don't give a fuck. Talk whatever you want. It's your channel.
Well, Bear, it's our channel. We're all on it together. If I wanted it just to be my channel, I wouldn't have put an invitation out there.
Okay.
It'd just be me sitting here talking about Trench Crusade or some shit.
That's fair. That's very fair. Anyway,
Oh, how did the doctor strip go?
thank you. I've lost 12 kilograms, which is
12
impressive.
kilos, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Like
And
25 pounds?
about that.
Well,
yeah.
a kilo
And,
is like 3.2 something.
2.2.
Two, yeah,
2.2.
2.2.
2.2.
But I also managed to charm the socks off the lady doctor, and now I have a family doctor finally.
Did you run your hand through her hair when she was giving you a test?
Which is
Testicle
the
exam?
hardest thing to do in Quebec, thank you. And,
That's
no,
what I do.
Sexually assault my doctor, Hunger.
Whenever they're giving me a testicle exam, I like to run my fingers through their hair gently.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea, honestly.
9 out of 10 times you get slapped in the face, but that 10th time is just beautiful.
Eddie Murphy
Yeah, that's Michael Jackson.
as Michael Jackson. Yeah. 9 out of 10 times they slap you in the face, but the 10th time is beautiful.
Yeah, you're talking to Liberace about picking up chicks.
Yeah, it's like you just go in the bar and ask every single girl in the bar out. 9 out of 10, it don't work, but that 10th time, you know, right?
Don't send that risky text to one chick. Send it to all the chicks you know. One of them might say yes.
Right? It's like Sex Panther. 75% of the time, it works every time.
It's got real panther in it.
Yeah, it's got real panther in it.
Quite
Yeah, when
pungent.
he puts it on and they're like, smells like gasoline.
It tickles the nostrils.
It's quite pungent, actually.
Yeah.
Trying to sting.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie.
I killed somebody. Yeah, Brick.
Ungar has not been playing any role-playing games except with us occasionally. He made the creepiest character ever. Like the storyteller was like, "Are you guys sure you want this character in the game?" Because he made a serial killer who specializes in serial killing a very specific sub group and is also like well liked by that subgroup. And his vampire can't actually survive on blood. He has to eat the heart of his victim. So it's like, okay.
Hardcore.
All right.
Sociopath.
I'm like,
Crazy as a shithouse rat, but you don't know it.
Oh yeah, he's also a sociopath. That's his.
Is he Malkavian?
Yes.
Of course, the Velociraptor Malkavian.
Well, no, I think we're thinking more like American Psycho.
I'm
Well, as
thinking
soon as I
Dexter.
heard eating hearts, I didn't assume he was well adjusted.
I'm thinking Dexter.
Or Dexter, you know. Somebody
And,
who's very, very sick but hides it.
Yeah, because the other Malkavians, one of them walks around with a bag of rocks, giving it.
She's
to
into
people.
crystals. She's always talking about putting her crystals out in the moonlight and shit like that.
And it's like people are playing Malkavians like,
There was a minute there where my character was seriously considering offing her, like for
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I was worried if I did it, the prince would call a blood hunt on me, and I've already got one.
people
So-
play Malkavians like these goofy little happy-go-lucky, throwing marshmallows at people and shit, kind of crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, let's get crazy, bitches.
Yeah, for real. But Whatever.
Let's make the Corinthian.
I think they're all just a breach of the masquerade and should be whacked. But
yeah, let's make the Corinthian from Sandman and see how they like
the
that.
Corinthian.
Yeah.
That guy was creepy. They did him right in the actual TV show, and I wasn't expecting much from Netflix.
Me neither.
But at least the Corinthian arc, they did that perfect. They nailed it. Now it's sad that turns out that Neil Gaiman is a creeper, but hey, anytime one of them is anytime anyone in entertainment is super hardcore feminist and they're a dude, they're a creeper. It's just gonna happen. Crawl Wheels, biggest fan, undocumented immigrant here. Okay. Well, good luck, homie.
Hey, I heard about those people in Texas.
Like
were
right
running
now,
a
the
bakery.
NSA is all like, okay, let's see where that guy is.
They were running a bakery with a bunch of illegal aliens and paying them under the table, and they got hit by ICE in South Texas, and everybody went to jail.
Well, anyway, so I think we might be playing this weekend the One Ring or Talislanta.
I'm down for whatever.
Well, Jeff mentioned the One Ring, but Tracy doesn't even remember playing the One Ring.
I don't remember anything about it.
So it's like if the group doesn't remember anything, and it's like, okay, no problem. It's like, so it's not like you got to worry about finishing the adventure because the group don't even remember the adventure. So it's like, all right. But that was because we started playing right before the holidays, and then the holidays hit.
Look at Bear's picture that he's got up there. That's freaking hilarious.
Bear makes good pictures. He uses, I don't know which AI art he uses. But you know how like I made the AI art of all of our vampire characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one too. It's free to use.
Which one do I use?
If I wanted to put like cartoon white guy with wizard hat on, I could do that.
Yeah, I use one called ETM.
Mine, I think, is called like Night something.
Yeah, I use
like I made this screen for my phone.
Oh, your waifu?
Yeah, elf chick with a kimono.
Freaking. You know who my waifu is?
Casca.
No.
Guts.
No, Guts. I would never think about messing around with Casca. That's Guts' girlfriend.
Griffith. He'd probably be down with that.
You know what? It turns out that hot blondes do our thing. Who knew? I didn't. No, asshole. Gran. You know who Gran is? The woman I married in that stupid Korean game.
Oh. big booby Korean chick.
Yeah, the Korean chick with the giant boobs. I tell my wife sometimes that I got a Korean wife. Not really.
I've been really digging all these Colombian chicks that always say papazito at you. It's like there's just something about it makes my sticker pack out.
Yeah, that's weird. And I posted that meme on my Twitter account. RFK, you need to look into blue hair dye because something in it's causing all these women to get really fat and angry.
I don't know what country that rainbow flag is from, but man, those girls are ugly.
Yeah, right. Came here legally and overstayed. Well, I mean, my advice to you would be to go back, because if you go back, then you can come back legally again. And plus, you get to keep all your stuff. But if you stay and you get caught and they send you back, then you can never come back for like 20 years and you don't get to keep your shit. They throw you basically whatever you're wearing handcuffed in the back of a car. So if you've been here a while and you've worked and bought yourself a nice TV and shit like that, all gone. Unless you've got a really good friend that's willing to pack it up and mail it to you. So, I mean, you know, if I were an illegal in the United States right now and I had the means, I would self-deport. That way, at least I have the option of trying to legally re-enter.
I'm thinking about self-deporting anyway.
Right. But if you get caught by these guys, man, your name goes on the list. You ain't coming back. You know, it's like serious business. And not a day passes that you don't see on some YouTube news channel about the 100 guys they caught here. And they're talking about throwing the mayor of like 3 different cities in jail.
I'm thinking about,
you know, which I don't know if it'll happen or not, but damn.
I'm thinking about all those big booty Latinas down in Colombia.
Calm down. Everyone knows the Brazilians are the hottest.
Colombian chicks.
Colombians are fucking smoke show.
Yeah, but they'll stab you.
Full of
They'll
fucking
stab
smoke.
you.
That's all Latina chicks. The last Latina chick I dated, she was cussing at me because every morning she's like, "Who the hell's alarm and why she texts you every day?"
Okay.
They're crazy.
As my Colombiana friend taught me, when you're in Colombia, you must learn to say, anyone says anything to you, all you do is look them dead in the eye and say, "No lo sé, soy turista, por favor no robes mis órganos," which means, I don't know, I'm a tourist, please don't steal my organs. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, so when we go to Starbucks and they ask for my name for the cup, I say that, and I'll just write "Pinche Gringo" on the cup.
Colombia's got all the smoke shows.
Jesus, they're hot.
I think one
And
of
like
the most attractive girls I've ever met in my entire life, and this was a long, long time ago, she was Argentinian.
Yeah, you can go either way with Argentinians, though. There are a lot of mixed blood down there.
She was from Argentina. She had like the bluest blue eyes and the blackest black hair. She was like, you know, she kind of looked like the princess from Fire and Ice.
Yeah, she's probably from Germany originally.
Who knows? I don't care.
Or Italy. There's a lot of Italians in Argentina.
I mean, technically, like 40% of us is from Germany originally. So,
yeah, Shakira's from Colombia. Yeah. And her hips don't lie.
Barranquilla.
Her hips do not lie. Yeah, but she's like half Lebanese, which is a good mix because Lebanese women, a lot of them are also smoke shows.
Yeah.
My doctor's Lebanese.
Yeah, so, you know, just good genes there or something. But whereas Greeks are some of the most unattractive people on the planet, and yet they all live to be 110.
Because they use Windex.
It's because of their diet. Because
they eat olive oil.
They eat nothing but olive oil and greens with every meal. And that combination just makes them live forever, but they still get overweight. But they don't have heart disease because, you know, their tubes are just clean as a whistle because
I was checking it out, and a lot of cultures that eat like ferment cabbage, like Koreans, Germans, Eastern Europeans that eat a lot of cabbage, they have a lower percentage of prostate cancer.
Yeah. Cabbage is one of the best things to eat. Now, there's someone on here I remember that used to make fun of me for eating cabbage all the time. because they hated cabbage. I don't know if it was Elle or who it was, but it was a thing.
Yeah.
So right now, since I've got my guys to the red, and I've already painted their little booties black, I'm painting all the rifles. German camouflage medium brown.
They eat sheep gut soup with lemon for
Who?
Easter. I guess the Greeks. I don't know.
Sheep gut soup?
Well, Americans eat chitlins.
No, some people eat
This
chitlins,
one don't.
not this guy.
Be none of that crap.
Yeah,
No
they're
tripe.
bad.
No chitlins, no tripe.
If you got to like wash it 8 times and let it soak in lime water, you ain't supposed to eat it. You know, I mean, if it's that hard to prepare, you shouldn't be eating it. You know, it's like blowfish. Don't eat them.
Well, I'm going to eat the hell out of blowfish when I go to Japan.
Well, it's not like it'll kill you.
I ain't worried about it killing me. Shit.
You're such an idiot.
What's it going to do? Kill me quicker than I'm dying? Fuck it.
Yeah,
What do you
I've
mean?
never hung out around a lot of Greeks, so I don't know what they do on Easter. Russians,
diner.
it's pierogi, and they call them pancakes, but it's crepes. And the crepes can be stuffed with meat and cheese and mushrooms or some kind of sweet. Just depends. But, you know, they call it pancakes. But, you know.
I'm eating hillbilly tomorrow.
Growing up Greek was tough. I love Greek food, though.
I'm having
gyros
pinto beans.
and
Yeah, but it's not all
souvlaki.
spanakopita and caponisti and souvlakis. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking squid. Like, you better like fucking squid. There was you remember that movie they back in the 90s, they had that the Peter Blatley show. There was the guy who wrote Jaws. It was the one about the giant squid attacking the town. And like the best review of it I saw was, this was an irrelevant movie. It didn't need to happen. Just get 5 Greek fishermen and your problem was fucking solved.
Well, as it turns out, I like squid. So
That was a big thing in when I was in Korea. They used to sell these little like bags of like dried out squid tentacles. That was like the big snack there. I tried one once. It was like leather. It was like with sesame seeds.
Calamari, fried calamari with some cherry peppers is delicious.
No, calamari's disgusting.
well, I mean, you know, to each their own. But you are right. I didn't grow up in a Greek household, but I had my experience is a Greek restaurant, and that's probably 2 entirely different situations. Yeah, because when you go to a restaurant, you get to pick what you want instead of just having somebody throw some apparently sheep gut soup on the table.
I'm making a big old pot of pinto beans tomorrow with some cornbread and ham cooked in the pinto beans
Nice.
and some mustard greens and rice.
I don't know what I am eating tomorrow. The only thing you shouldn't be cooking is the rice. Everything else sounds okay. But
Yeah, I
rice.
like that.
But why was growing up Greek tough, George?
Some nasty food, he says.
Well, I don't know. Just being nosy. Don't mean nothing by it. Just being nosy.
Yeah, well, I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass, and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but
But
I'm
I'm
known
known to rock a microphone.
I was thinking about starting a show on Tuesday nights at around 7:00 with you.
Okay, cool.
I don't know where I'm going to start it, but I'm thinking about it.
You know what the biggest thing is?
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to say it online.
Having something to talk about. which currently we really aren't talking about much of anything.
Bear got that.
Yeah, I got it too, but I didn't care. You know, I was like, whatever. Like, you know.
I want to show you something.
Yeah, I've heard that line before. And it never worked out well for me.
This is like the funniest shit I've ever seen online, though.
Well, I don't want to watch it because remember when I had to yell at you for the whole, you're like a 10-year-old. You can't sit for 10 minutes without looking up memes or effing
Let
around.
me show you guys this because it's hilarious.
No.
And it's pertinent. It's pertinent to the conversation.
Post it on the freaking Discord.
I can't.
Why not?
When I die and come back to life, I'm not going to tell nobody, but there'll be clues.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's not pertinent to any conversation.
It was pertinent to my conversation.
Like I said, you should really just be ashamed of yourself.
I know, but I'm not.
That's your problem. But
No
anyway,
regrets.
no clue when Easter is. Oh, man. Okay.
Bunch of boiled chicory. Tastes like ink.
So, I know. I'm sitting here like thinking, and it's like, Hunger, if you want to start a stream, what I was going to say before you so rudely interrupted everybody to show a dog penis, we got to think of something entertaining.
Anything I'm involved in is entertaining.
See, that's not true. Your sense of humor
Squirrel.
is like, it's funny, but like only for like a couple of minutes, and then you just want to strangle you. You know what I mean?
Violence can be entertaining.
It's like, yeah, those jokes were cool for like 10 minutes, and now I just want to punch you in the head. Fasting also included eliminating animal product. Well, yeah, I've got the fasting calendar, George. So I know all the days where it's no meat, no oil, no wine. I mean, it goes, you know.
I don't have to follow that.
No, you don't. And according to your church that you joined, beaver counts as seafood, so you can eat beaver on Fridays. I guess the logic is it lives in the water. I mean, okay. But regardless of that,
I'm controlling myself, Bear. You should be proud of me.
I'm proud of you is something I will never be. Let's just keep that straight.
So,
yes.
Bear, you've been running your game. How's that been going?
We missed because of someone being out of town. So this week I got my OSE on Wednesday.
Nice.
And then Friday we're just going to do a Super Brawl for the new heroic group, which will help Doc learn the rules, which will be good for him.
Yeah. Good testing. Let people figure it out.
You're muted, Doc. You're muted, Doc.
Star Trek's next week, right?
Yeah, it's the week after. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one I watched the last time I watched your stream, which was this week or last week, you guys were playing Star Trek?
That's 2 weeks ago, something like that. 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not great with time. So.
That's okay. I'll be right back. I don't want my food to burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if it's more than a couple weeks ago, I just kind of.
Everything turns into about a week ago with you.
Yeah, with me, everything's about a week ago. So how about Kendrick Lamar calling all those other rappers pedos and shit?
A minor.
It's like, what? fuck that big three. From now on, it's just big me. You know, it's like, okay, somebody woke up mad. Like somebody just woke up angry and decided they were going to hate on every other rapper. You know, it's like, all right.
They've been taking the Super Bowl halftime show and putting the theme song for DuckTales over it.
The what?
Theme song for the cartoon Disney's DuckTales.
Over what?
Woo!
I know.
Over the Super Bowl halftime show with Kendrick Lamar and everybody up there dancing and stuff.
To the DuckTales.
And it syncs up perfect.
Well, I mean, that was the thing back in like the 90s and early 2000s was like Disney made actual good programming on TV. And I would watch it with my daughters because they were of that age where they'd get home from like primary school, you know, like 1 through 5 or whatever. And then we'd sit on the couch and I'd talk to them about whatever. And we'd watch the Disney block. And it was like 2 hours long.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck. And then Chip and I already said Rescue Rangers, and also Power Rangers, which, you know, I didn't like, but my kids did. So, you know, they got to watch their Power Rangers
and
too.
then Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
I want to be kind of good, just like everyone else. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, don't even start singing that song, man. It'll get stuck in my head, and I'll be like, Pokemon,
gotta catch 'em.
You know, like a heart so true.
Our courage will
see us through, or something.
You teach me, and I teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
So, George, were you raised? Was your family Greek Orthodox? I want to be the best. Yeah, I know. Like, oh my God! I remember one year we bought our his nieces, my daughters. What were those?
The Burger King Mighty Kid meals.
No, Game Boys.
Oh yeah.
And then we got one of them like Pokemon Red and the other Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver and all that.
You had the special edition Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because mine was cool because I got to start with Pikachu.
Yeah, but remember when Burger King was having the Mighty Kid meals and the toy was a Pokeball with like a
the
Pokemon
toy
card.
Was a Pokemon figure that came in a Pokeball that you popped open.
So we decorated the Christmas tree. We went every day and got some of those for the kids. And then we used the balls to decorate the Christmas tree.
So they had a Pokemon themed Christmas tree.
And they got to open up all the decorations.
And then we put the little like knick-knack presents that you get people that would normally go into a stocking in all the Pokeballs.
And we got them each one of the gold Pokeballs with a special. I mean, it was fun.
The Squirrel Hermit.
Yeah.
Okay, George, I was just wondering. I mean, I'm a convert, as you know already, to the Russian branch, but I mean, it's the same church, so whatever. So did I show you this? I mean, look, it's a little bit of cover troops can hide behind, plus it's a bunch of rotting bodies crucified.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome for the Trench Crusade table.
Well, I'm going to bounce out, guys.
And right now I'm working on this one. It's a bunch of guys that have been hanged by barbed wire off of a T-post.
Yeah, because that's not gruesome at all.
Well, I mean, the whole point of this game is, I mean, you lean into it. It's like a heavy metal album.
Yeah, it's like Death Clock, the game.
Right. I mean, or King Diamond. You know, if you're going to listen to the
Mermaid.
I love that song. You get your knife.
Check.
Crowbar. Check. And he just goes through the whole list.
Yeah.
You know, vengeance. Check. Location.
Have you ever seen those Batman animations they do with those songs?
Yeah, the Russian guys.
Those are the best.
I love Metalocalypse.
And they even have, like, in one of them, they have a kind of a guest appearance because Batman stops at the red light and they look over and it's Death Clock.
Yeah. Are they still making those? Because I heard Adult Swim went all anime.
Well, Death Clock's been off the air forever.
Yeah. Oh, has it?
I think I watched Death Clock on Prime a while. Yeah.
I have Prime.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think that, but I can't prove it. By Hungar. But I think that the lawyer might be Nyarlathotep.
Put the link up, man, so Cody can join us. Come on, Cody, join us.
Cody never joins us. He just
but we're gonna guilt him into it. Come on, Cody.
Yeah, he might do it for you since you two game together.
Prove your friendship, Cody.
Actually, one of my favorite internet.
We also have a paranormal podcast channel together.
What? You do?
Yeah, it's called Yet Another Paranormal Podcast. Yap.
Nice.
We've done 4 episodes so far. The last one we did last night was reviewing the movie The Alien. God, I always want to say Agenda, but it's not Agenda. The Alien something or other. Anyway, it was good. Went well.
Did you ever see that movie Communion?
Yep. Saw it in the theater.
That was the guy who wrote Wolfen and all
that. The Alien Report. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, it's Whitley Strieber. Yeah. It's all about his abduction experiences.
I love that shit. Like, there's a channel on YouTube called The Vermis Mysterious.
Okay.
And it's just this guy doing these short videos about Lovecraft stuff.
Oh, neat.
And also trying to work like real life shit into the Lovecraft mythos. Like, I think I told you about this before, but the way my mind works, I may not have. Do you remember the movie The Ninth Gate?
I've never seen it.
Baby. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the what's his name?
Yep, exactly.
Poop in my bed. What the fuck is his name? Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. He has to get, or at least look at, copies of this book called The Book of Shadows or something, because there's only 3 and 2 of them are fake. But if you get the real stuff together, you can summon the Prince of Darkness and then get immortality or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Vermis Mysterious did a whole video, 8 minutes long maybe, on that book. And so they integrated that book into the mythos. And that's like they did a video on the Tunguska explosion and, and also the hikers that got killed, that
Pass. Yeah.
And they take real life shit, but then they make it mythos related.
Well, then you should definitely start watching Cody and I's paranormal podcast channel, because
you can summon Ozzy. I will need to. Yes,
Sharon.
You can summon Ozzy. You just need
Sharon.
A burrito.
We can't have Bubbles Sharon on the fucking Prince of Darkness.
Because apparently Ozzy Osbourne is addicted to burritos from the burrito shop down the street, and it's all he ever wants to eat. And Sharon gets so mad at him because he's eating burritos. But he gets mad because Sharon's little bulldog's always pooping in his house. And that makes him mad because he paid like $7 million for the house. So like on the TV show, he was complaining about, I live in a $7 million dog poop. It's like, he was so mad, but you know who's in charge of that relationship anyway,
Sharon.
Right.
His kids are fucked up.
Yeah, it's like kind of how could they not be though?
One of them was never in it, right? Like the oldest one, like wanted nothing to do with it, was never in the show or something.
I just remember there was the boy and the girl was an idiot. She tried to turn it into like fame for herself, but it didn't work because no one gave a shit about her.
Yeah, the oldest, there's a bunch of them. There's Jessica Starshine Osborne, Amy Osborne, and Kelly Osborne.
Kelly was the one that was in the TV show.
Kelly, Jack, Amy, Jessica, Louie, and Elliot. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, and only 2 of them are on the show. Yeah, you see Kelly Osborne these days, the amount of plastic surgery she's had. Holy fuck.
How old is she that she's getting plastic surgery?
No, but she's 40. But she had her whole face redone, dude. Okay, look. I'm going to share with you. Okay? I'm going to share with you. Here you go. Oops, no, let's do Brave tab Kelly Osborne. There we go. Share. Okay. Pop that up.
See, this plastic surgery thing they're doing, it makes them look like aliens.
So this is what her jawline used to look like, right? That fat round head she had. And this is what she looks like now.
Like her dad. And now she looks like an alien.
Now she looks, look at it. This is what she used to look like. And now she looks like she's fucking, like, what the fuck? How much plastic surgery she had done, man? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
Have you seen pictures of Madonna in the last couple of years?
Oh my
geez. God.
Why
Madonna,
would I ever
aka the Lich Lord.
Yeah, the fucking.
I mean, you remember a while back when she got all heavy into Kabbalah and shit?
I mean, wow, back, dude. She never. Okay, some of the first footage of her you can find is her volunteering and being in witch videos, shot in films shot in like the late 70s in California. Okay, where they were doing like blood rituals and stuff like that. Like this is legit stuff. They were student films. So it's all witch stuff. Think about this, man. Remember that fucking Grammys or whatever where she kissed fucking Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera?
Yeah.
Remember that? That was a fucking talent succubus moment because look what happened to those 2 girls immediately after.
That's true.
Look at what she did to the ball player. What's his name? A-Rod. She sucked the talent out of him. Guy Ritchie started making bad fucking movies. She's a fucking talent succubus.
I agree with you entirely, 100%.
Yeah.
There's something not right about that lady. She is a lich.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie stuff
or
since
maybe
he came
a wife.
to America.
I don't know.
Garbage.
Yeah, but that's because he came to America for her.
Yeah. It's a shame, too, because Guy Ritchie, Snatch.
Yeah, those British crime movies were so amazing.
Barrels, I mean.
Lock, Stock's good, but Snatch is my favorite.
Oh, Snatch is great.
Rock and Roll was my favorite of his.
Yeah, but that's because you're a fucking bitter pill. I'm going to go eat my supper now, boys, and then start watching videos on my Discord. So we'll be seeing you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I got to eat too.
All right, well, you two take
off. Catch you guys later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So it's just me talking about, like I said, right now I'm currently working on my Trench Pilgrims and doing some terrain, getting some terrain done, scatter terrain for the board. That's really what's going on. Our game, yeah, like I said, there was an emergency in the middle of the game, and people had to haul ass out, so we didn't really get the game much. We still hung out because you know how it is when you get together with your gaming bros. So there's always like, whether it's at the beginning of the game or at the end of the game, there's always like that 30 minutes to an hour where everybody wants to catch up about whatever the hell they've been doing for the last week or whatever. So that was cool, I guess, get to catch up with your bros, see what's what. But yeah, I have totally been captured by the idea of Trench Crusade, mainly because of the amount of creativity the game allows. And I mean, no one at my table would ever play the game, but I would love it if there was an RPG set with this setting, or if people were cool with me using like BRP or Twilight 2000 to run a game in this setting. But I already know for a fact no one at my table would ever be interested in that, because I have women and a half woman. I shouldn't say that. He's one of my best buddies. But I have two girls. Well, they're not. They're women, and a guy that hates anything military. Like, hate's a strong word. He's just not interested in playing military-based games. And so right off the bat, it's just never going to happen. Right? So that's just how it is. So my 2 copies of Twilight 2000, well, if somebody offers me enough money on Facebook, I'll be selling at least one of them, because as much as I love Twilight 2000, the Free League version especially, I'm never going to get to play it with my current game group. And my current game group is the game group that I've been gaming with for like decades at this point. I mean, decades, 20 plus years. So, and I don't mean this to come off as whining. I'm not whining. It just is the way it is. I have my group of players, 8 to 10 of them, and some of them would go along with it, but not enough. And then, what would end up, the last time I ran Twilight 2000, what ended up happening is the aforementioned people just decided that they wouldn't play. They weren't interested in it. So we played the game without them. And while that was cool, it was cool. Everybody was cool. It was kind of like, weird playing a game without like half of the group you're used to. So, and that's the same thing that kind of killed the Conan game too, because half of my players do not want to play a Conan game. Even when I'm like, why do you not want to play a Conan game? I mean, it's awesome, it's a fantasy role-playing game. You can play whatever you want. And they're like, nah. It's just like, pains in my pee hole, But, sometimes you just got to make concessions for the players, And it might not be what you want to do, but as I always say about role-playing games, it's a team effort. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you need the DM, obviously, but you need the players too. And without, both of those, you have nothing. You don't have a game. If you don't have any players and you don't have a DM, you don't have a game. So, I tend to try to let people vote on what game to play, because then I hope they'll be happy with their decision. But, that doesn't always work. So, yeah. Painting these. This guy's got like some bullets hanging off the front of him. If I paint them metal, it'll be like That guy's got surplus Russian ammo because it's metal casings instead of brass. But anyway, see, I decided to paint his one shoulder pad because it's obviously just a big chunk of metal folded to fit on the shoulder, and the pistol, but they'll get shaded with my Vallejo black shade, so that'll be fine. And now with the fine brush, I have to try not to screw up the hood, which I am, but that's okay because it'll be easy to just take a little red and fix. But I have to paint the masks they're wearing the metallic color because these guys are, they're wearing a mask. So, and like I said, I'm going to do the Molotov bottles dark green. And I might actually, after the whole miniature's done, put a gloss coat on the bottles just so that, hopefully it looks glass-like. But, yeah. So, yeah, that's the whole video I made earlier was like, yes, the people who run the Discord for this game are jackasses. The people in charge of the forums for this game are jackasses. But, I just love the open creativity to the game so much. And because of that, I'm kind of addicted to it. I think it's probably one of the best tabletop games to come out in a long time. At least setting-wise, it definitely is. So, the setting is really cool. I mean, like I get to play my hardcore fanatical Christian army and try to wipe out heretics and the forces of hell. I mean, that's right up my alley, That's the kind of stuff I want to do. So, which, I mean, I made a post to him and I told him, I said, why would you ban people who are openly conservative and stuff when you created a game that was practically custom built for conservative Christians? Is like every conservative Christian that hears about a tabletop game where you can make an army of like hardcore Christian crusaders and fight demons is going to be like, damn, I want a piece of that. I mean, that sounds cool, right? And even if you make a heretic army, it's like, well, you make your bad guy army, but unlike, people like to argue in 40K about, well, are the forces of chaos really the bad guys? I mean, short answer from someone who played 40K since the mid-90s, yes. But in Trench Crusade, it's not a question. No one ever says, are the forces of hell really the bad guys? No one says that. It's like, yes, they are the bad guys. Definitively, by every metric, they are the bad guys. And whoever wrote the lore leans into that too. Like they talk about, the child sacrifice and all that kind of stuff that's going on in the all the cities that hell has managed to conquer. The golden calves and the temple or the idols of Moloch and all that. So, yeah, they're not trying to, and it's weird because some guys who have done videos on the game have been like, they kind of make it ambiguous as far as who the good guys are, right? And I'm like, obviously it's a European because Europeans are idiots. And Two, if you watch any Trench Crusade game where the guy talking about the game is European, you can almost guarantee they will choose to play the Iron Sultanate. And if not the Iron Sultanate, they'll play, one of the Hell groups. I don't know what that is, but I have watched a ton of content made by people from all over Europe. We're talking like Swedish people, German people, Irish people, and they all do the same thing. And a few of them I've even commented on and been like, what is up with you Europeans always choosing to play the Muslims? It's like, it's like, what's going on there? Is that a weird kind of self-loathing, or do you actually like, the aesthetic, Personally, I don't. I think that the Muslim faction in this game, they're barely distinguishable from the forces of hell. They have sorcerers and they have, magically created monsters and assassins that definitely don't look human. The only people in the army that look human are the Azebs and maybe the Janissaries, but like the rest of their army is literally alchemical monsters. And it's like, these guys are barely any better than the heretics. And also they're not, even though they don't actively war with the Christian factions, they're not friends, because ultimately they view the Christian forces as infidels. So yeah, the whole thing is just weird, But yeah, every European guy pretty much that I have watched talk about this game has chosen the Sultanate of Steel or whatever, Iron Sultanate, whatever it is. Everyone. It's like, man, can you imagine that, being that person who's not only has your country been overrun, but even in your war games, you're going to surrender, capitulate. It's insane, really. But that's my opinion. And you guys can disagree with it all you want. But no, I would never in a million years. Like, the only army I don't have is the Sultanate. Because I'm just like, no one I know wants to play that. I don't want to play it. I don't want to waste my time building the army. I would rather play a freaking, the 9-headed serpent straight from hell army than, the Sultanate. At least then you're being more honest about things. But yeah, not a fan, obviously. Some of you might have noticed that. Now, because these guys in red are Russian and they are devoted to Saint Olga, one thing they have a lot of in the army, well, a few of, is flamethrowers and Molotov cocktails. Because these homeboys, they want everything to burn. And that, I think, is based on, the story of how Saint Olga, equal to the apostles, burnt Kiev down by attaching sulfur packets to pigeons and sparrows and then tricking the men who murdered her husband into letting them, or whatever, giving those birds to her. So yeah, That's what these guys are all about. They're all about burning everything, which means they'd be really good hard counter for anyone playing Black Grell, which is, basically the disease guys, Nurgle, but worse. But it's basically if the bubonic plague had a demonic conscience behind it. That's what the Black Grell is. It's a demonically created plague that kills people, but on top of killing people, possesses the corpses. And then the corpses sometimes they just rise, as like basically plague zombies, and sometimes they just mutate, and sometimes somebody might be turned into a what's it called? A Knight of the Order of the Fly. Either way, it's a horrible thing. And sometimes all of the rotting flesh congeals into like one thing. And then that one thing becomes like a giant conglomerate of just body parts that walks across the battlefield, just absorbing and killing things. A lot of Western Europeans have lost their vigor. Yeah, that's true, which invites horrible conquest and death. It's perverse that they make their kids in it. Yeah, it is. It is. That's why I've said this forever, that if Europe is going to be saved, it will be saved by the East. But most Western European nations are so ideologically captured, and by bad ideology, the things that they're following are terrible for their own citizens. I mean, we're seeing some of that now because JD Vance went over there and basically called them all a bunch of bitches, but which made the one guy from Sweden cry. Can you imagine being from a country where some politician talks shit and your nation's leader or whatever cries? Like, I can't even imagine that. If someone talked shit to Trump would just talk mad shit back. You know what I mean? He wouldn't tolerate that shit. I mean, it's what's happened, right? Look at every time any other world leader has tried to bow up at Trump, it has been an F around and find out moment in their life. Like, you don't talk shit to that guy because he will talk shit back 100%. I mean, Zelensky tried to talk shit. What happened? Trump roasted his ass, just cooked him. Started calling him a dictator, talking about how, they ain't had elections and forever. And so what did Zelensky do? He immediately changed his tune and started going along with what Big Papa Trump wanted, right? Because that's how Trump rolls. He's not going to cry on stage. That is just, it's embarrassing, really. If I was a European, I'd be embarrassed by that. Like having one of the elected elites literally crying on stage because, JD Vance told them they need to stop being so serious about everything. I mean, which is not a lie. CNN was trying to give them cover, went to Germany, talked to German prosecutors who point blank admitted that you could go to jail for insulting someone online, and then went along with them for dozens of early morning raids where the German Polizei was busting into people's house to take all their social media equipment and maybe throw them in jail. Not only has he banned all of his rival parties, but he's actively hateful to the Orthodox Church, which we found out recently that USAID was financing one of the groups that was in Ukraine with the written intention of undermining and hopefully destroying the Orthodox Church. But then again, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's like I always say to people, if the devil is not effing with you and trying to tempt you into damnation, it means he already has you. So consider that. Whereas people of the faith, we are constantly tested and we know it. But the reason we're constantly tested is because there's something to win there, But why would you waste time fighting for something that's already yours? So there is that. And I've mentioned that a lot of times. And some people will be like, well, I don't believe it. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you believe it. That's like saying you don't believe in the weather. Yeah, it'll still rain, So disbelieving in spiritual forces will not somehow make those spiritual forces not exist. They will still exist. All it does is it makes you not a target because they know they already own you. So you're just one name they can check off the list. Like, no need to try to tempt this guy. He's already doomed himself to go to hell. It's kind of horrible, really. But yeah. So it's looking like we're going to get mineral rights. Russia will probably get everything east of the Don River, and Ukraine will be lucky to survive. The Pope, apologies first and foremost to any of my Catholic bros in here. I think the Pope is Antichrist, and that a lot of the things he says are way too political for, the Pope to be saying. Like, the Pope has no place getting on TV and talking about how America handles illegal immigration, right? That's not part of his religious purview. And also, but I'm biased, and I admit my bias to anybody who asked. I'm biased, super biased about it, because to me, the whole Latin church is an abomination, because they basically, whether they admit it or not, replaced Christ as the head of the church with a man that gets elected by a group of other men. So they have taken the faith, which they were once brothers in Christ with us in, and they've made it a political, whatever. And because of them doing that, it directly led to the creation of all these crazy Protestant religions. And I would say that nothing in the world has created more atheists than the Roman Catholic Church. Maybe some of the Protestant churches, but it's like, because if you grow up in these churches that have false doctrines, eventually, if you actually think about what it is you're being taught and stuff, a lot of people just turn their back on it because they realize It's fake. And they don't want to be a part of it, you know? So yeah, the whole split in the church, and I think it was Pope Innocent declaring himself the head of the church. That's just been a bad thing since it happened, you know? Now, what's funny is because, you know, I have Roman Catholic friends. They are convinced that they'll tell you that the Orthodox Christians broke away from the Roman Catholic Church, even though historically that doesn't make any sense, since all 5 of the bishops outside of Rome rejected the bullshit, and you know, like that. So no, it doesn't make sense that everybody turned against, you know, just for no reason. You know, it doesn't make sense. Somebody dropped, so this talk is either boring or they're Roman Catholic and I pissed them off. So, which, you know, it happens. So yeah, see, this guy got his bolt action. I got to paint his mask too. Yeah, I found out that my desire to like run a horde army and just run over people is not going to happen, because apparently there is a rule in how you build your army that says only so many ducats, which is the currency used in this game, can be used for specific things. So yeah, you can't just spend your entire 700 ducat limit and start the game with, like, you know, 20 guys with bolt action rifles. And I get it. I get why they would do that. Jesuits, definitely satanic. Now I sound like the church lady because I'm like, is it Satan? But yeah, definitely. Hey, there's Litholdus. I wonder what he's been doing.
Hello.
Hey, that's the dwarf from Freyrin.
Yeah, no. I want to
What
go
you been
home.
up to?
It's where all my stuff's at.
Oh, Freyrin?
Yeah. It was from the parody. Well, not parody, but that Grimlock.
Yeah.
Not Grimlock, but you know, that Grim
The guy who
video.
did the unabridged or whatever, or the abridged.
Yeah, he did the Goblin Slayer abridged, but he
Yeah.
also does like funny videos on other anime.
Yeah,
I just got done
Freyrin
with
was in
War
trouble
Thunder.
recently. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah, demon posters.
Because people were, they were like, because Freyrin says that certain cultures cannot live together. And
It's not about that.
were
It's how they treat demons. It's literally demons are irredeemable, but that's somehow an allegory for other races somehow.
Which makes no sense, since Freyrin hung out with humans and dwarves and
Yeah, she hung out with every other race.
might have even had the hots for what's his name,
Emil.
even though he never noticed it.
Well, I mean, you know, elves, they don't have any romantic inclinations, I guess you could say. They just don't care.
Well, I remember the one episode where Freyrin like blew him a kiss and did the whole cutesy thing.
Yeah, I know.
There needs to be a game about retaking Constantinople. There kind of is. It's called Trench Crusade, because my whole band of trench pilgrims are from Russia, followers of Saint Olga, equal to the apostles, and their whole goal is to retake Constantinople. The other army I have over here, which is modern day Byzantine Varangians, their whole deal is the retaking of Constantinople, because Constantinople fell to one of the forces of the demon lords. So, you know, see, that's what I said about this game, is you can create your own lore. But the fact that Constantinople fell is actually canon. But the fact that I'm creating armies specifically to retake Constantinople. That's all me. That's all me.
It's neat.
And of course, in this game, Russia is still Imperial Russia, and it's still ruled over by Tsar Nicholas Romanov, because the Communist Revolution never happened. You know. So, good stuff.
Yeah.
Like the big giant mechs in this game, I forget what they're called. I have one. They are actually now being created by a holy order that's on Mount Athos in Greece. They were originally created in Russia, but the monastery where they were created was attacked by death commandos, and they killed everyone except for one monk who managed to escape to Mount Athos, and he had all the blueprints to keep making those things. So now they're being created at Mount Athos. But yeah, I forget what they're called. Anchorites, I think. And they're pretty hardcore. I mean, it's basically a diesel-powered mech suit with a monk or a nun in it, stomping around the battlefield, you know, killing demons.
But the Savage would have been like that if there was a real thing like Full Metal Panic.
I've never seen Full Metal Panic, so I don't know.
It's really good. I like it, at least.
Well, yeah.
I like the weird mecha anime with odd premises. Like a soldier from Afghanistan hidden in Japan
to
protect a girl. That was weird but funny.
You could probably, if you thought really hard about it, guess what the last anime I've watched was.
It would be either Frieren or frig, I can't remember that other one that you talked about.
Berserk.
Oh, Berserk. Or that one. That one would make sense too.
Yep.
I had 3 options.
Crunchyroll, and anytime I'm like, I don't know what I want to watch, I either put on Berserk or Event Horizon.
You know, Crunchyroll used to be a pirate site, right?
Yeah, I did. I've heard that, but I am, even though I'm an old man, really, I am new to the whole anime scene, you know.
Fair.
Like the anime that I remember watching when I was young was just whatever came on Saturday night on Cartoon Network.
That's fair. I remember that too.
You remember that? They would have like Toonami or whatever it was called.
I remember Toonami, and then there was the late night blocks too with like Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, or that's where I very first saw Cowboy Bebop.
Or Cowboy Bebop, yeah. That was a big one.
And Trigon was on there. Trigon.
Yep, I remember that one. That's my favorite anime. Just
is it
in general?
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, I don't hate it.
I love the space western with the character with the, you know, goofy motives but deep backstory.
Yep. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm kind of indifferent to it. You know, it's like you say you like it. I say awesome. I'm glad you like it. But me, I'm just like, it's all right. I mean, I've watched it. I honestly like Full Metal Alchemist better. But that's like just taste. You know what I mean?
Fair. Or Detective Conan. I remember that, but that wasn't on Cartoon Network. That was on Sci-Fi before they went weird.
Battle of the Planets is my first anime.
Never heard of that one.
I think Battle of the Planets used to come on actual TV because there was a period when I was a kid when it stopped being like Looney Tunes and it started being like Sailor Moon and shit like that.
Yeah, that was a weird time.
Like on normal Saturday morning TV, though. And then you had Voltron
Yeah.
You had a couple of different Voltrons. You had the first one with the Lions, and you had the other one with like the 22 vehicles.
The 5 space flying cars, obviously.
Yeah, but they were always fighting the same guys that looked like Drow.
Too bad we've never seen the very first Japanese superhero.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could.
It's hard to actually find episodes of it. In fact, I don't think you can really.
What is it? Is it like?
It was something from like the early 40s to 60s called Golden Bat.
Yeah.
Most of it's pretty much all of it's lost media.
Yep, kind of like all of the deleted scenes from Event Horizon. Because they stored the freaking all the deleted scenes in a bad place. They all got destroyed.
That's happening to a lot of shows now.
So
especially
because Event Horizon, the rating would have been a lot rougher because the scenes where it shows like the people being tortured and shit, apparently there were like 20 minutes of that.
Yeah, wow.
And the studio was like, no way. You know,
it's like no.
Yeah, this is like murder porn. You know, so they had to cut it all out, but then they stored it in Romania somewhere, and it all got destroyed.
Sadly for anime, it's a different reason. It's just mainly the owners of the stuff just don't want it to be re-released, so they just never do it, and not being preserved.
Like how they taped over like so many of the original Doctor Who's.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of people will never know, you know, the first Doctor and all the shit that he got into, which was way better written than the vast majority of the new stuff. Now, I'm not going to take away Eccleston and Tennant. They had some good episodes. I liked them. But when they put, what's his name, Smith or whatever in there, I started getting to where I was like, I don't like any of this. Because you could tell the writing was just getting worse and worse. Plus, that guy never left London. So it's like, why am I watching a sci-fi about a guy with a machine that can travel through space and time, but the asshole never leaves London?
Yeah, all he does is stay in London forever. It's like,
and every episode is about how bad slavery was or something. It's like, really, this is what Doctor Who, the last of the freaking whatever that world was he was from, this is the shit he's worried about. He's not worried about, you know, going out and fighting against the Daleks or stopping the Men of Metal. He's worried about, you know, this bullshit. And that's when I basically fell off, you know.
Sounds a lot like how Sliders went.
Yep. But see, like the Tennant era, that was the one where Doctor Who had a face down with the devil, and you had the Ood who had the tentacles, and he was always going to all these different places and alien worlds, and you know, it was just much more interesting. I mean, that's why you watch it, you know.
Yeah. Because
you want the sci-fi part of it. You don't want to be preached at by the BBC. It's like, I don't give a shit about any of your shit. You know what I mean? I mean, England has become a nation that's ashamed of its own existence. And they use their media and everything like that to constantly apologize for the fact that they even exist. And that to me is just sad, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I said, if you watch any Trench Crusade videos where people are building armies, if the guy talking is from Europe, they always choose to play the Muslims or one of the branches of hell. But they never choose to make a Christian army. None of the European guys that have commented on this that I've watched so far. Not one. Meanwhile, you watch the American commenters on this game, and like almost every one of them is making like Trench Pilgrims or New Antioch, or one guy just made his very first video of all time today just so he could talk about the fact that he was making a Vatican rapid response team army.
You know, if I did this, I probably would make a Polish Hussar team. You know, think about it.
They're in the game. They talk about it.
I mean, this is close enough to where you might even start being able to add like motorcycles in it, not be too weird.
Probably could. There's no rules for it yet, but that's a yet. Eventually, they're going to have to release vehicle rules because they talked way too much about different kinds of tanks and shit. And eventually, somebody's going to be like, "Hey, come on now."
Yeah.
You know, armored
think about
car.
Polish Hussars on motorcycles.
That would be badass.
It would be.
But the Polish Hussars as a force, it already exists in the lore.
Not true. Fair.
Because they talk about how when you're walking through the streets of New Antioch, you'll see Polish Hussars, men from Ireland, Ethiopians.
Now you're making me want to try this. Try to find a way to make minis for like Hussars on motorcycles.
You know,
and if I ever get to play a game of it, just play Winged Hussars Arrive.
Yeah. But that's basically the lore, is that New Antioch is very cosmopolitan because all of the other nations in the world that are Christian in both Europe and Africa send supplies and men to New Antioch to help in the war. So if you're walking down the street of New Antioch, you could see Varangians from Constantinople. You could see Polish Hussars. You could see, swordsmen from Ethiopia or, whatever, It's all because all of the Christian nations have united together to, defeat hell. Eccleston had a great cameo in 24-Hour Party, quoting Wheel of Fortune by Boethius. I like Eccleston.
What are White Scars?
White Scars are space marines that are renowned for always riding bikes.
Oh, okay.
They're straight up bikers. But even better than White Scars would be the Gene Stiller cult Jackals, because they look more human. You'd have to do some kit bashing. But the main reason is they're all riding like dirt bikes. And that would make more sense than those giant fat space marine bikes.
I was thinking more of probably putting them on more I'm trying to think of what they're called.
Or you could actually download some World War II era Harley Davidson.
Yeah, those. Those probably would be what I would be going
for. Or BMWs.
Yeah.
I have a couple of them that I 3D printed for my Cyberpunk game. Because, one of the guys said he wanted to have a classic, motorcycle. So
kind of like the one that Nicholas had in Trigun.
Right. It has the saddlebags and all that. But now I'm working on my communicant that goes with the Pilgrim Army. So I'm using the same colors basically. He's blind because the cross on his face, they literally nail it into his eyes. But because he's so blessed by God, he can actually see better than someone with eyes.
Ah.
And his whole deal is he roams around the battlefield murdering fools. That's what he does. That's all he does. He finds demons and he makes them dead. Or heretics or whatever.
Kind of
Like he has a special rule in the game called tough. So if the enemy manages to take him out, you get to ignore the first time he's taken out.
Talking about that, in our game, we just had our first combat.
Oh, yeah? How'd that go?
Well, I got stabbed.
Well, your gnome?
Yes. Luckily, not really bad. It was like a scratch on my arm.
Good. I mean, I was like, why would anybody want to stab a gnome?
He was mugging me.
Of all the targets on the battlefield, it's like
He was mugging me specifically.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. I guess your gnome needs to learn to stay out of dark alleys and shit.
Actually, it was in the middle of the woods.
So you're walking through the middle of a forest and some dude jumps out and tries to mug you.
2 dudes.
That is not a good forest.
Nope. Apparently, they were some mercenaries after information. With what my character does, he works on what was it? Siege weapons for this area, and they were hired by a different group trying to steal the information.
So trying to make you give them the knowledge of how to make the siege weapons?
More like there was a paper I had with all this like information that I've done, and he was out for that.
So they were just trying to steal the blueprints or the war plans or whatever.
Yeah, and they got away with it, but we finally tracked the one that did get it, and tracked him down and got the plans back.
They would have got away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids.
Actually, it was because of the Laufear with the the elf guy with the
come on,
Irish
Les.
wolfhound.
Work with me, Les. Work with me. That saying, I don't know. Maybe you're too young.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Scooby-Doo, I know.
Because the bad guy at the end of every
meddling kids and you talking dog.
Yeah. The bad guy is always, hey, it's Old Man Johnson.
Old Man Jenkins.
Yeah, or whatever. And then they're like, you're going to jail. And he's like, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. And it's like, okay.
And our dog, the Irish wolfhound that was able to stop them from
the talking dog.
Although Scooby was
he could only talk to Shaggy.
No, everybody understood him.
Did they?
Yeah. Even the guys
would know that Shaggy was the red-haired chick's brother.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And his real name is like
Norville.
Yeah, Norville or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's the red-haired girl's name? Diana or something?
Daphne.
Daphne. That's Daphne's brother. And also, little known fact about Scooby-Doo, Norville was dating Velma.
In some versions, they do have them dating.
Yeah, and that was the setup. So, so the modern people who are saying Daphne's like a lesbian, it's like, apparently you're not aware of the actual lore of the show because.
Yeah, I think you mean Velma.
Velma's
the one that they always call a lesbian.
Velma was dating Norville.
Yeah.
And so none of that other shit was going on. But people got to do self-inserts all the time, which is why Japanese anime is slaughtering American stuff because
they can make actually good stories.
If you watch the movie Berserk, the anniversary edition, there is no American-made movie that compares, that even gets close to it.
I know,
and I could say
at least modern. I can't think of any that could come up close.
No, the story is awesome. And they don't pull any punches. And there's character progression.
I can always think of a good Japanese movie as mostly Miyazaki films. God, Miyazaki made some good stuff.
Well, Kurosawa for me, but I'm older than you.
Fair.
like Kurosawa's version of King Lear. It was called Ran, and it was pretty much absolutely amazing.
I like The Wind Rises, or Up from Upon Poppy Hill, or those kinds of movies.
Oh man, I remember watching one of them, and I was a little shook at the end of it. It was like Night of the Fireflies or something like that.
Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, that one's.
That movie was like, I was like, damn, that's some dark shit right there.
It was, yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of a single American-made movie that's been made in the last 20 years that is as good as the anime Berserk, the Arc of the King or whatever.
I can't find
anniversary edition.
I can't find one as good as Red Line.
Well, I mean, you like race car stuff, so
I don't usually like racing anime or racing shows either.
So
I
would
say
you
that
say
one's
Red Line
odd
is
now.
better than Fast and Furious?
Oh, obviously, yes.
Interesting.
Not even a chance there.
See, I can't think of a modern sci-fi fantasy show that I've watched. And of course, I'm not counting Lord of the Rings because that came out like
pretty good long ago, over 20 years ago at least.
Yeah,
now, right?
a long time ago. So I'm not counting that. But like they just, I mean, all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones put together is shit compared to 2 hours of the Berserk movie.
Yeah, well, I
Arc
just
of the
lost.
King or whatever. I mean, it's like, and I just don't know if we have what it takes in the modern day to make good movies anymore.
Or shows. I mean, what? Cobra Kai is about the only thing good out on, like, show-wise that America's made.
Yeah. I like the vampire show I was watching.
I haven't
What
watched
We
any
Do in
vampire
the
show.
Dark.
Huh.
I thought it was funny, but you're right. There's just not much out there that makes you want to jump up and set your timer so that you can watch this show every week. It's like,
Well, Japan has like Frieren and a few others that are really good.
Well, I hope they eventually release the season 2 of Frieren.
They're eventually going to. It's going to take them a little bit. I think they were saying fall of 25.
And I know that they hired a new writer for Berserk. So that's eventually going to get done.
And then there's that one I was talking about, to the Ascendance of the Bookworm. That's coming out in 26. So I still got about a year.
All right.
Which is a long time to wait.
I wonder when the new Izumaki's coming out.
I haven't watched that.
Izumaki is, I don't think it's the name of the show. I think it's one of the, it's like Izumaki Wants to Hang Out.
Oh, you mean Yuzaki-chan, I think it was.
Yeah, and it's like...
I tried to watch that. I need to finish it, I guess. I don't know.
It's weird.
I know, but I've already seen something like it. It was Tomo-chan.
Well, it's because for some reason there's that whole branch
genre
of anime that's about a nerdy guy who don't like anyone and a hot chick wanting to hang out with him.
Yeah, true.
And no, don't be all talking all that crazy shit about lolicon bullshit, because the main character is like 20. She's just short and very, very angry if you point it out that she's short.
True.
Because she's very sensitive about the fact that she's very short. But yeah, it's not like we're watching anything weird. Nothing happens. Just she hangs out with the dude and nothing happens for a season.
Oh, James, you know how you talked about Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Oh, they made a mistake on Twitter.
Everybody makes mistakes on Twitter.
Yeah, they asked their audience to give out their favorite quotes from anime.
Oh no. They
Yeah.
did a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, they did a Mountain Dew.
And you never do a Mountain Dew.
Oh, if I knew, I would have.
You never go full retard.
I would have found like I'd probably just like look up the most ridiculous thing that you could find on like some obscure anime just to post it if I knew about this.
I'm sure there were people on there posting lines from like, you know, something of the Overfiend and
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
all that weird ass shit. I knew a guy a long time ago and he brought the VCR tape over and he's like, hey, I got this movie. It's cool. And he put it in. We were watching movies. The first movie he put in was Tromeo and Juliet. And I was like, that was fucking horrible, right? The second movie he put in was like something of the Overfiend, right?
No,
Which was basically high school girls getting violated by a tentacle demon monster. And I was like, nah, that's gotta take that out.
No.
And I stopped hanging out with that dude. I was like, you know, I told him, I said, dude, you should be on a list or something. You know, that shit is, I mean, that's just too much.
Yeah,
It's just too much.
Phew. I thought it was too much when I watched High School of the Dead.
Yes. See, and that's the problem is some of the Japanese stuff is just really weird.
Yeah.
Some of their anime is really weird. I am, though, however, very pleasantly happy to say that Frieren is not one of them.
No, I mean, that's probably one of the best and simple stories that they made, I guess.
And it's wholesome. It's just about this girl going around doing good, well, this immortal elf going around doing good things for no reason other than she's immortal. So I guess it keeps her occupied. It's sad that she keeps outliving all of her friends, but you know, I guess that's the problem with being an immortal elf.
No kidding. She's like, I'm the only one that remembers Flama. Like,
yeah, you know.
Wow.
I liked when they fixed up Himmel's statue and went on the quest to find the blue flower because he was such a fan of that particular flower.
I gotta feel sorry for Fern on that one, though. I mean, you're just sitting there lacing your life away looking for a flower.
And it's like, well, she's not going to die. You got to feel, you feel bad for Fern, right?
Yeah. It's like
Fern's a human.
Yeah.
She's not got all eternity to jerk around with all this shit.
Frieren, stop messing around. Don't milk it just because she's young.
Right?
One of my favorite lines from Grimjack, though, on that one is like, oh, well, you're only 108 once. And then it's like, Miss Frieren, I'm 16. You're what?
Like, wait, what? Yeah, I like that when they were doing it with Goblin Slayer. And the priestess is like, I'm 17 years old. And Goblin Slayer's like, say what?
Say what?
Because I mean, yeah, they had shared a bed. Because that's how they had to reincarnate him. So he had been in the bed with a naked 17-year-old girl. He's like, say what?
Say what?
Like, no, don't want to know about that. Not that he did anything. He was dead, but still. It's weird.
Yeah.
No names.
No names.
Yeah.
That's how Frieren did it for probably the first, like, half of the of their trip.
Yeah.
Calling them by their job titles instead of names.
Yeah. Like, no names.
Like,
well, imagine as an elf, right? For them to start getting more like familiar with you, how much longer would they have to know you than a human?
Yeah, no.
Because a human will meet you, and since our lifespans are relatively short, we're going to be all like, hey, we're going to move. You know what I mean? Because whether we want to admit it or not, deep down in our brain, we all know that our time is limited.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why humans are always running around doing stupid shit. Because, I mean, you ain't got all eternity to F around. If you want to conquer Antarctica, you better get to it. Because, you see what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I'm saying it
I get
necessarily the right way, but
if you're an elf, you're not going to really rush things, while humans, they have to.
And you live for all eternity? It's like you look at a human like...
I mean, at least D&D elves don't last that long. It's like
300 or 400 years.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe a little longer, but,
yeah.
In some cases, maybe a little longer, but I think in like Greyhawk, they introduced like gray elves or something, and they lived like 500 years or something. And I'm not sure how long Drow lived, but I know it's a pretty damn long time. So, but Frerin being an immortal,
they're pretty much immortal. They're just, if nothing kills them, they're going to sit there and live forever.
Right. So they're like Tolkien elves.
Heck, technically, Frerin's the young one in the series, because we see 2 elves older than her.
Well, the one that had put together that whole series of tests, that was the one that trained Frerin.
Frerin's master, not Frerin.
That's what I said.
No, you said
Frerin's
that
master.
Okay, there.
Yeah, that's the one that trained Frerin, is what I said.
No, you said the elf trained Frerin, not trained her master, though.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. Frerin's master was that red-headed human.
Yeah, Flamma.
But Flamma was trained by the elf that...
Zedia.
Yeah. You're right. I shouldn't have even doubted you. I should have known. I'm talking to Leth here.
I know the lore.
He knows all that lore better than I do.
I forgot what his name was, but there was that other elf that's like a martial artist, and he was actually even older than Frerin too. I don't know if older than Zedia, but he has like a statue made of stone, and everybody's like, we don't know when this was made, but it's pretty dang old.
Right. Of course, my favorite character is Himmel the hero.
That's fair.
I don't know. You get to see a little bit of it in flashbacks, and he seems like... I think Himmel is not necessarily my favorite, but since that was supposedly based on a D&D game or something,
I don't know if
Himmel would have been the character I would have been playing.
I'd probably play Eisen.
The dwarf, yeah. Hungar would probably have played Eisen, because he almost always plays a dwarf. And I almost always play a human fighter that's a good guy and out doing good things, because I don't know why.
Or I'd probably play the priest too, but my priest would probably be a bit different than...
Well, would he be an alcoholic? Because that seems to be the main thing.
Yeah, fair. Maybe it wouldn't be too much different.
Right? As long as you drink a lot, you're pretty much there, right?
Yeah.
But, Eisen is cool too, of course. But...
No.
Himmel is the kind of character I play in fantasy role-playing games.
I get that.
I guess that's all I'm saying.
That's
of all the characters in that anime, Himmel is the kind of character I play. The kind of character I play would be probably not Guts, actually.
Oh, I could see myself
never play Barbarians. And it wouldn't be Griffin, because he's too pretty.
I might play Barbarians, but I don't think I could play Guts very well. It's just not my style.
Right. I guess it would probably be the one guy that was kind of an asshole the whole time. You know who I'm talking about? He's always talking shit and eventually got ate by a demon.
No, I don't know much about Berserk other than its horrible brutalness.
Yeah, that one guy who did the thing when he was talking about and is like, describe Berserk. And he just said, pain.
Pain.
Pain. That was the only word. Pain. Which is, pretty true. This guy's gonna, once I get him finished block painted and put a wash on him and maybe do some highlights, he's gonna look pretty freaking dope. Dope. That's such a stupid word.
Though the one anime I know was based off a D&D game, it was Record of Lodoss War. I haven't watched that.
Oh, yeah. That one for sure. They even gave you the stats of the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know which other one was based off of the game was Goblin Slayer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Goblin Slayer was based off of a role-playing game. And then after they put out the manga and the anime, they actually created a Goblin Slayer role-playing game.
Yeah.
But the original role-playing game was like D&D or something. But then they made their own role-playing game, which uses all dice sixes, because apparently getting all of the funny dice in Japan is, not easy.
That's fair. I can see why you do that in a country with...
Yeah, so that's why so many games the Japanese make run off of dice six engines. Because, yeah, they have a hard time getting... Which,
or other dice types.
Yeah. I've got like 2 box sets from basic D&D that didn't even come with dice. They came with like paper sheets that had all the numbers on them. And how you were supposed to use them is you're supposed to cut them out and then put them in a cup. So if the player needed to roll an attack roll, say a die 20, you put the 1 through 20 chits in the cup and shuck it up and let the player reach in and pull one.
Fair enough, that would work.
Number.
I guess that would work.
Yep. And then they gave you like a little form that said when dice were available, you could send that form in and they would send you a set of dice. But I guess there was a time period where TSR, and I'm talking, this is like the late 70s, maybe very beginning of the 80s. Even TSR couldn't get.
Jose's in.
Hey. Yeah, even TSR couldn't get polyhedral dice in large enough
quantities
to put in all the box sets they were selling.
And nowadays, you can just buy as many as you want for cheap.
Yep. How you doing, Jose?
Yeah, hey, Jose.
Fine. There are some changes in my life.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, things are getting better in a way.
Well, that's good.
Good. Good news is good.
Good news is good, yes.
So this is completely block. No, I need to do the binding on his Bible, but otherwise that's completely block painted.
That's nice.
Which means I need to wait until he's 100% dry and put a wash on him, and then he'll be done. Yeah. Yep.
And what do you think about not painting my miniatures?
No one says you got to.
Okay. Yeah, because I fear that if I do that, I will be locking them to a faction, and then trying to get another one would be difficult.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. That's why I have like 800 mechs.
Wow.
I deleted the video, but there was a video I had for the longest time where I had all my mechs on my dining room table, which is 8 feet long. and I had them arranged in companies.
Jeez.
And I was counting them out, and it was 850 something.
And it was only Succession Wars.
And it was all Succession Wars. Not a single clan mech anywhere. Yep. But yeah, I had like a company in the red and black that Hungar likes for his Kurita guys. I had a bunch of my Merrick guys. I had some Steiner guys in their red, white, and blue dress colors. You know, I had a little bit of everything. I had some guys that were all camouflaged up. You know, a little bit of everything. And yeah.
Talking about mech, there's a new mech game coming out soon.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is that?
And it's a free to play like not RPG. It's a free to play shooter game.
You know what my favorite mech game of all time was?
What, Mech Warrior or something?
I think Heavy Gear. Not Heavy Gear. No, not Heavy Gear. It was a Japanese game, and you basically designed your mech from all these different mech parts, and then you could play against another player. Armor Core.
Armor Core. Oh, yeah, Armor Core. Yeah. I've been wanting to play that, but I just never got to it.
Like the original Armor Core on like N64 or whatever it was on. That shit was badass. Like Hungar and I would play that all the time.
People say that MercNet and MechNet still work.
I haven't been to it for a while, but
the problem is to find people to play.
Right.
But
because there is Mech Warrior Online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which I don't play, but it is there, and I used to play. I have like shit tons of mechs.
The problem I have is that my computer in 2016 was already a typewriter.
Right. So
not a computer, a typewriter.
No, but it makes me think. Whenever in like I think mid '90s, I got my aunt's old computer. And it was just like this big gray box that had 2 or 3 games on it.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm saving up for a upgrade because the computer I have now can, even though it can run Stalker, it doesn't have enough storage. And everybody keeps saying get an external hard drive, but the problem is
it will be slow.
The USB ports on this thing are not the most stable.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like, because I was playing Ark the other day, and I kid you not, it just disconnected. And I'm like, why?
Disconnected.
And it was because, you know, something happened with the connection between the freaking external hard drive and the. I was so pissed because, you know, I was being chased down by one of those dinosaurs that spits venom at you. By the time I got back in, I was already dead. I was like, damn it. And that's when I decided I'm just not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it, you know?
Yeah, that new mech game I'm telling you about, it also has mech customization. You can make your own mechs.
Yeah, Armor Core was awesome for that. That was like, and they had so many different kinds of like, you could have like humanoid or like tank treads, or I mean,
I hope this one has things like that, but it doesn't look like it. It's got its own style though, so I don't mind it. I would like it if it was more like MechWarrior a little bit, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it might end up being like the Shiznit. You know what I mean?
It looks like it. It looks awesome still. It's called Mecha Break.
Yeah.
And since it's free to play, I'll give it a good try.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going to cost you anything, you might as well.
Make your own. You can make your own pilot and mech. I'm like, yay! And it like has certain styles of mech where you can play either like certain roles in a group.
So, Yeah, you can play like the tank mech or the
Yeah.
artillery mech or the scout mech,
Things like that.
brawler.
It goes like tank, support, sniper.
Yeah. Alpha Strike for BattleTech does that. It classifies all the mechs by role.
It was
So
for
like my
PlayStation.
beloved Griffin is a sniper. Which makes total sense because I mean it's a fast medium mech with extremely long range weapons on it.
Now,
So-
you talking about Armor Core? That reminds me. In one of the newer ones, it had like mechs from like anime in it. And that was kind of cool to me. Like you could see different anime mechs in it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I
Yeah,
remember that one.
Yeah, with Armor Core, you could like make like all kinds of mechs because you had different. It's like you could pick your torso.
Yeah.
You could pick your legs or not legs. Then you could pick your arms and head, and like the different parts you put on the mech actually meant something, you know?
Like I remember it showing like mechs from like Full Metal Panic, which was cool. Like
Yeah.
even had the character, like the anime characters in there too.
Well, it was a Japanese game, so
Yeah.
that makes sense, I guess.
Was for PlayStation, right?
The one I played was either PlayStation or N64 or something. It was a long time ago. You know, Hungar and I were much younger.
And for PC, what is your favorite game?
Mercenaries.
MechWarrior 2? Mega
Yep.
Mercenaries?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one where you
I
start
played
out.
that.
You start out with like a commando.
I think I
Yeah.
played that. Wasn't that on the Xbox also?
It might have been,
I
but in
don't
this
think so.
one, it's like
It was,
you know, you're being ordered to get back to the drop ship, and you make it back to the drop ship, but the commander of the mercenary unit doesn't. And then like the one guy's like, I guess you're in charge, kid. And that's how the game kind of starts. Because it has a whole movie, you know. That was the best thing about all of the MechWarrior games, honestly, is they all had like the most badass like movies in the beginning.
That is kind of cool. If it was on the N64 though, that must have been heavily compressed just because of how little memory you could have on the cartridge.
no,
Well,
for
I mean,
Xbox,
like-
there is Mech Assault.
We were talking the other day with the whole, you know, the one, and it's like it's all military, and it's got like the music, and you can hear the one guy, and he's like giving his call sign to base, and you know, there's nothing out here, blah blah blah. I'm going to take a quick pass by whatever and double check, and base is like okay, and then the next thing you know, a giant freaking Kodiak jumps out of the ice and starts killing him. And he's on the radio and he's like, Kodiak base, there's a Kodiak. Of course, there's nothing base can do. I mean, you know, too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, too late.
His vulture just got ate up by that Kodiak. And they had all kinds of like, every one of the games started with like some cool mech movie that kind of always made me wonder why
It
they
most
never
likely
made a
was-
mech movie.
Might have been, that might have been a PlayStation game then.
Well, I played them all on PC because I was always part of the PC master race,
Fair.
except when it came to like a couple of games I played with friends, like me and my buddies would always get together and play Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. I mean, I was weird, I guess, because I played like Command and Conquer on the N64.
Yeah, we would get together and play that multiplayer. So, you know, the screen on the TV would be split into
Yeah.
4 different, you know, like GoldenEye, basically.
Yeah. I
And
remember
you're running
GoldenEye.
around, you know, trying to kill each other.
Did my brother hate me in GoldenEye?
Yeah, were you a screen looker?
No. I was just messing around with them with the proximity mines, and he would run into all my proximity mines all the time.
GoldenEye, where you had the suitcase that deployed as a gun.
That was Nightfire. GoldenEye did not have that.
I thought GoldenEye had the suitcase that become like a.
No, that was Nightfire.
Okay, damn. You know what first-person shooter I played a ton of too, back in the day was Team Fortress or whatever.
Oh.
And my favorite character was the engineer, because I just run around setting up turrets everywhere. And
What
I
game
carried
was that?
Team Fortress.
Team Fortress. Oh, Team Fortress. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like playing the engineer.
Fair.
And just setting up turrets and all the other shit. And then, you also had a shotgun, so that was cool.
Yeah, I never really got into Team Fortress, mainly because it was a little bit before my time on the PC.
And the demolition guy was hilarious.
Yeah, Demo Man.
You had the freaking grenade launcher.
Yeah, I watched videos about them. That is the funniest thing. I think watching videos about the characters.
Oh, yeah. The videos they
Man.
put out about the characters are insane.
The most hilarious game that I have played is called Micro Commandos. It is about some aliens that look like dinosaurs, but like walking dinosaurs, like humanoid dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And basically, they are tiny, but very tiny. So basically, they are going to invade the Earth and conquer the planet, but they need to gather energy. Where do they get the energy? They start to gather pieces of pizza, for example. And rodents are real monsters, for them. So basically, so it's very hilarious because
the weirdest game I probably played was probably Mr. Mosquito.
Mr. Mosquito, I've never even heard of that.
Never
it was
heard
on the
of
PlayStation 2, and what you do is play as a mosquito trying to get blood from a family, like a Japanese family.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's weird. Or Katamari Damacy, which was really weird too.
I used to love the game Ants.
Ants.
Yeah, you played as an ant hive in this person's backyard.
Oh,
and
that was a Sid Meier's game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Sid Meier's Ants. And your whole deal was trying to not get killed, basically. Yeah. And take care of your hive, your nest, whatever. And if you were not careful, the guy who owned the house would put poison down. And plus you also had to fight with all the other critters.
Guess what you have to do in Katamari?
Is it?
What?
I thought you said that's what you got to do in Katamari.
No, I asked, guess what you have to do in Katamari?
What?
Roll things up in a ball so you can make stars.
Oh. I remember somebody I used to talk to, but they kind of fell off. I forget what his name was, but he used to be on my channel quite often. We were playing Conan, and then he left because he wanted to play a game where you play a cat, but like all the humans are gone. So you're just running around trying to figure out where all of the humans went. And there's robots everywhere. But all the humans, I guess, are dead or something. Which reminds me of the Flight of the Conchords song. The humans are dead. The humans are dead. It's called the Robot Song.
Yeah.
We use poisonous gases, and we poison their asses. The humans are dead.
I thought you were going to say that reminds you of that one game you wanted to play that one time, like that. What was it? Pugmire.
Oh, I love Pugmire. If somebody makes me a good deal on it on the marketplace, I'll be getting rid of it. and I have pretty much everything for it, but it's a game I'm never going to get to play.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to go. What am I looking at right now? Okay, I did that. What am I missing? Oh, okay. Yeah. Green. And I think I will use, where is it? No, not olive brown. Gunship green. That's a good green. Hell yeah. Now I've got Fortunate Son trapped in my brain. You know, because Huey gunships.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I got 2 Huey gunships right up there on the shelf. One of them I painted, one of them I didn't. Let's see. You can see. You see it? It's next to the giant waifu girl with the bikini.
Yes, the bikini girl has.
And then next to her is a gray, it's called Cowgirl. And it's just a anime girl with big breasts wearing a white and black polka dot bikini. Like a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an STL. My mom wants the anime girl because she wants to make a kimono for her. Because my mom sews clothes for her dolls.
Hey, fair enough, I guess.
That's her hobby. You know, we all got hobbies. Well, my mom collects dolls and she will make clothes for them. It is weird.
Makes me think of that weird anime I just once seen.
And then you walk in the house and there's like 100 dolls all staring at you. And you're just like, oh my God, this is like a horror movie, you know? And she just laughs about it, but she don't understand how creepy all of those little shiny glass eyes staring at you is. It's absolutely creepy. And she's like, no, they're my babies. And I'm like, yeah, no. But then again, my mom also owns like 5 dogs too. So she's definitely got something wrong with her.
Well, hey, it's better than owning a bunch of cats.
Well, yeah. Her problem is she can't say no. And people that know her know she can't say no. So these idiots get dogs or whatever. And then they realize that they don't want the dog. So they bring the dog to my mom and be like, can you take this dog? Otherwise, I'm going to have to take it to the pound. And my mom, of course, being the softie that she is, takes the dog. And it's like, you got played. But yeah, because they know she's a softie and she would rather take care of a dog for 20 years than
aren't moms always a softie?
Yeah.
My mom, she gets upset whenever I joke about killing the bird, that pheasant.
What? I've never even seen a pheasant.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd ever see a pheasant either, but now there's one that just hangs around the house.
Well, I mean, I'm not telling you should kill it or anything, but I've heard they're good to eat.
That's what I heard. So I was like, you know what? Emergency food. If anything goes bad, I got something to eat.
You got the pheasant, right?
Yeah.
Like boat snack. But anyway, yeah, it's like, I know rich people pay a lot of money to go hunt pheasants, don't they?
Yeah, apparently.
That's like something rich people do. They go out and hunt pheasant and chase foxes around. It's like, me, nah, I don't even think pheasants live where I'm from.
I didn't think they'd see one in Kentucky, but apparently there's one now.
Well, it's like pheasants apparently like fields.
That makes a lot of sense where
with
I'm
tall
at
grass and stuff like that.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
And mountains so much. You know, the bird we find where I'm from is quail. Occasionally, you find quail.
Also, there's those
in the woods.
weird little turkey things. I can't remember what they're called.
I don't know.
Guinea, I think it was.
Oh, guinea hens.
Yeah.
People. I knew people that actually kept those like chickens.
Yeah, I mean, our neighbors have them, and they're always
They're like
in our
black
yard.
and white spotted.
Yeah.
Yep. Little guinea hens. So yeah, but I have never in my whole life seen a pheasant. So
Well, I finally have.
you have. Well, you're one up. You know, you've achieved something. I mean,
Having
I've
a pet
seen them
pheasant,
on
basically.
TV. I've just never seen one like
It
a
eats the cat
real
food.
pheasant walking around. It's like,
Yeah, I know. It eats the cat food that we let out for the cat.
well, down here, believe it or not, wild turkeys think that you're just renting space from them.
Yeah.
And when it comes that time of year for them to mate and shit, where my mom used to live, you would go over there and there'd be 40 or 50 wild turkeys standing in her front yard. I mean, you'd get out of the car and have to like brush them aside. They wouldn't even move. They weren't afraid of you at all. And they would come up and eat all the dog food. So, of course, when that time of year came, my mom had to put out, big bowls full of dog food so the turkeys could eat it. And which meant, her front yard would just be overrun with turkeys.
Man, I just felt like, oh, wow, this is going to make it easy to hunt them.
You know what? You don't want to eat a wild turkey.
I
For
don't know.
one thing, they're stringy as hell. They're small.
Fair.
I mean, they're just, they're just not worth it, honestly.
I mean, couldn't you fatten them up a little bit first?
I mean, the only reason I could see somebody wanting to hunt a turkey is just for the challenge. Because apparently they're not easy to hunt.
Well, like they're not easy to kill from what I remember. I hear people like shooting them with shotguns and them just running off. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that means they missed because during hunting season, it's like the turkeys go from what I described to like freaking just if you sneeze anywhere in the neighborhood of one of them bastards, they're gone. They're not even going to hang out. And that's kind of what's weird about them. It's like during the mating season, they're all up in your yard eating your dog food. And you're literally, trying to push them away with a broom. But as soon as hunting season happens, them bastards vanish, into the woodwork. And you don't see them at all.
They have a biological clock.
They have something. But like I said, I mean, maybe you might get some decent meat off of one of the big gobblers, but the hens are just stringy. They're not big.
That's fair.
It's like, there's more meat on a big roaster chicken than those things. So still raining, but it's almost been 3 hours, guys. So I'm going to bail.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll catch you later,
Okay.
Jose. I'm glad things are going better for you.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's an improvement over the previous situation.
hey, it's always good.
Yep.
And
yeah,
I will catch you guys later. Whenever.
See ya. Okay. See ya. Okay. Nice to talk to you.